Yo, what's up, you beautiful bastards? It's Philip here, and look, let's just get right into it. Today, we're talking about something a lot of people whisper about but rarely shout from the rooftops. Love after kids, or more accurately, why the love seems to fade for so many couples. Let's face it, many marriages lose the spark shortly after children arrive. The love that once burned hot now flickers faintly in the background of baby cries, unpaid bills, and tired eyes. But why? What really happens after the baby bump? Is it just sleep deprivation, or is there something more insidious at play? Buckle up, because in this video, we're diving deep into 20 uncomfortable but necessary truths about why love fades after having kids. This video isn't for the faint-hearted. It's for those who are ready to face the music, have some uncomfortable conversations, and ultimately fix their families. I know this sounds heavy. And trust me, we're going to get there. But before you peace out and decide to watch a compilation of cats being scared by cucumbers, just hear me out. This stuff is important. We're talking about the foundation of your family, your future happiness, all that good stuff. You ready to get real? Let's go. Alright, brutal truth number 1. Once those little bundles of joy arrive, many couples unknowingly shift their entire identities. And no, I am not talking about the whole becoming a parent thing, although that's a big part of it. I'm talking about a more insidious shift from partners to parents only. Remember those romantic dinners, those spontaneous weekend getaways, those nights that ended with something other than just collapsing into bed? Yeah, those might become a distant memory. Before kids, she was the queen of date nights, always down to try that new restaurant or catch a late night movie. Now her energy is spent on diaper changes, feeding schedules, and desperately trying to decipher the different cries of a tiny human. And him, he used to surprise her with flowers. Now he spends his weekends assembling cribs, installing car seats, and trying to figure out which way is up. Look, I get it, being a parent is a full-time job. Arguably, several full-time jobs rolled into one. But here's the thing, don't forget that you're still husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, partners in crime, whatever you want to call it. That spark, that connection, it needs to be nurtured. Even amidst the chaos of parenthood, don't let those little humans turn you into ships passing in the night, exchanging tired grunts and grocery lists, because trust me, that's a recipe for disaster. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe it's more like the sleep-deprived zombie in the room. Brutal truth number 2. Physical exhaustion is a love killer. Remember those carefree days of sleeping in, lazy Sunday brunches, and just generally having enough energy to, function? Yeah, those days might be gone for a while. We're talking sleepless nights, constant multitasking, a never-ending cycle of feeding, changing, and soothing. Picture this, it's 3 a.m. She's woken up for the 3rd time to the sound of a screaming baby. He's passed out on the couch, still in his work clothes from pulling a double shift. They're both running on fumes, their bodies and minds pushed to their absolute limits. And here's the thing about being exhausted, it doesn't exactly make you the most pleasant person to be around. Tired people are more likely to snap at each other, pick fights over the smallest things, and just generally lack the patience and energy to nurture a loving relationship. Plus, let's be real, cuddling loses its appeal when you're basically just using each other as human pillows. Remember those romantic comedies where the parents are always in the mood? Yeah, that's Hollywood, my friends. In the real world, exhaustion is the ultimate mood killer. Alright, let's talk about sex, baby. Or should I say, the lack thereof? Because let's be real, after kids, intimacy can take a nosedive. It's not that you don't find your partner attractive anymore, it's just that life gets in the way, big time. You're both touched out from holding the baby all day, exhausted from sleepless nights, and the last thing on your mind is getting busy. And here's the thing, this dry spell, it can create a whole other level of distance between you and your partner. You might start feeling undesirable, unwanted even, resentment builds, and suddenly you're sleeping back to back, wondering how you even got here. It's a slippery slope, guys. Listen, I get it. Talking about sex can be awkward, especially when it's non-existent, but communication is key here. If you're not feeling it, tell your partner and be honest about why. Maybe schedule in some alone time, even if it's just cuddling on the couch after the kids are asleep. Remember those date nights you used to have pre-kids? Yeah, bring those back, even if it's just ordering takeout and watching Netflix after the little one is down. The point is, you gotta make time for each other, both physically and emotionally, because neglecting intimacy, that's a recipe for disaster. Let's talk about money, because we all know that little bundle of joy comes with a hefty price tag. Diapers, formula, clothes they grow out of in 5 minutes. It adds up, and that financial strain, it can put a huge strain on your relationship. Think about it. You're both stressed about bills. Maybe one person's working overtime while the other feels stuck at home. Resentment starts brewing faster than a pot of bad coffee. Suddenly, you're arguing about who spent what, blaming each other for not making enough, and that till death do us part vow starts sounding a little too real. Look, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you this: communication is key when it comes to money. Sit down together, create a budget, and talk openly about your financial goals. And remember, it's not about keeping score, it's about tackling those financial hurdles as a team. Because here's the truth, financial stress can poison a relationship faster than you can say college fun. But if you face it head on, communicate openly, and remember that you're in this together, you'll come out stronger on the other side. Okay, here's a big one, the division of labor after kids. And let's be real, it often feels less like a division and more like one person's drowning while the other's sipping a margarita by the pool. Sound familiar? It usually goes something like this. One partner, often the mom, let's be honest, becomes the default parent. They're on diaper duty 24/7, playing chef, chauffeur, and therapist, all while the other parent clocks out after work and wonders what all the fuss is about. Here's the thing. Resentment festers when one person feels like they're carrying the entire weight of parenthood, and it's a silent killer, slowly chipping away at the foundation of your relationship. You might not even realize it's happening until one day you wake up and realize you're living with a roommate, not a lover. So, what's the solution? Communication, people. Talk to your partner about how you're feeling. Divide and conquer those parenting duties. And for the love of all that is holy, show some freaking appreciation for the invisible workload that often falls on one person's shoulders. Remember, parenting is a team sport, and it's time to start acting like it. Alright, so you've got the whole parenting thing down, changing diapers like a pro, rocking the bedtime routine. But when was the last time you actually connected with your partner on an emotional level? And I'm not talking about coordinating grocery lists or arguing over whose turn it is to take out the trash. I'm talking real, genuine, heart-to-heart connection. You know, those late night talks you used to have, sharing your dreams, your fears, just being vulnerable with each other. Because here's the thing, guys, when you stop checking in emotionally, when you stop really seeing and hearing each other, that's when the distance starts to creep in. And let me tell you, that emotional disconnect, it's insidious. It's like a slow leak in your relationship, slowly draining away the intimacy, the connection, the very foundation of what brought you together in the first place. Suddenly, you're just two roommates sharing a house, raising kids, going through the motions, and the worst part is it often happens so gradually that you don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. So here's your wake-up call, people. Make time for each other, put down the phones, turn off the TV, and really talk to each other. Ask the tough questions, share your vulnerabilities, and reconnect on that deep emotional level. Trust me, your relationship depends on it. Okay, let's be real. Having kids changes your life, like completely flips the script. Gone are the days of spontaneous road trips, lazy Sunday brunches, and just doing whatever the hell you wanted whenever you wanted. And while most of us accept those changes, even embrace them to some extent, there's a fine line between embracing parenthood and feeling completely suffocated by it. You see it all the time. Couples who were once adventurous and free-spirited suddenly find themselves trapped in a never-ending cycle of diapers, feedings, and nap times. The wife who used to travel the world now hasn't left the house in weeks, and the husband who lived for his gym time now considers chasing toddlers his daily workout. And here's the thing, losing yourself in parenthood doesn't just impact you as an individual, it takes a toll on your relationship too. When you don't make time for the things that light you up, when you lose sight of who you are outside of being mom and dad, resentment starts to build. You start to resent your partner, you resent your kids, and you resent the life you feel trapped in. So, what's the solution? Don't lose yourself in parenthood. Carve out time for your passions, even if it's just for 30 minutes a day. Support each other's individuality, encourage each other to pursue hobbies, and remember that you were individuals with your own dreams and desires long before you became parents. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the perfectly filtered elephant in the room, social media. We're bombarded with these picture-perfect families living their best lives, with their perfectly behaved children and their seemingly effortless relationships. And it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your own messy, chaotic, beautiful reality to these curated snapshots of perfection. But here's the thing about social media, guys. It's a highlight reel. It's a carefully constructed facade designed to present the best possible version of reality. And it's so important to remember that. When you start comparing your relationship to the ones you see on Instagram, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because behind those perfectly posed photos and witty captions are real couples with real problems and real struggles just like you. They fight over dirty dishes and whose turn it is to take out the trash. They have days when they want to pull their hair out and question why they ever thought having kids was a good idea. So, do yourselves a favor and take a step back from social media. Unfollow those accounts that make you feel inadequate or envious, and focus on building your own authentic, messy, beautiful relationship, one that doesn't need a filter to shine. Remember, your love story is unique and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be beautiful. Alright, fam, buckle up, because this next truth bomb is a big one. We're talking about unresolved conflicts, those little arguments, disagreements, and annoyances that you just kind of sweep under the rug, especially once kids enter the picture. You know what I'm talking about, right? It starts innocently enough. The baby's crying, you're both exhausted, and that discussion about whose turn it is to do the dishes quickly turns into a we'll talk later situation. But later never comes, does it? And those little unresolved issues, they fester, they grow, they turn into resentment and bitterness, poisoning your relationship from the inside out. And let's be real, guys, avoiding conflict doesn't make you the bigger person. It just postpones the inevitable explosion. Because here's the thing, those buried emotions, they always find a way to resurface, often at the worst possible time. So rip off the band-aid, have those tough conversations, and clear the air. Trust me, your relationship will be much stronger for it in the long run. Okay, you've survived the sleepless nights, the diaper blowouts, and the terrible twos. You've managed to keep your relationship somewhat afloat amidst the chaos of parenthood. But just when you thought you had it all figured out, bam, you and your partner realize you have completely different parenting styles. One of you is all about strict schedules, organic snacks, and limited screen time, while the other one's rocking the go with the flow approach, slipping cookies at every turn, and letting the kids watch just one more episode. Sound familiar? Here's the deal. Inconsistency in parenting creates confusion, not just for the kids, but for your relationship. When one parent feels like they're constantly playing the bad cop, while the other one's dishing out the fun, resentment builds faster than a toddler's tantrum in the candy aisle. And before you know it, you're not just arguing about bedtime routines, you're arguing about fundamental values and questioning each other's every parenting decision. Let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, the emotional roller coaster that comes with postpartum body image. Ladies, After bringing a whole human into the world, your body goes through some serious changes. And while those stretch marks are badges of honor, adjusting to a new normal can be tough, especially when you feel like you're losing yourself in the process. Suddenly, those pre-pregnancy genes don't fit the same way. The sleep deprivation is real, and let's be honest, sometimes showering feels like a luxury, let alone finding the time for a full-blown makeover. And in a world obsessed with bouncing back after baby, it's easy to feel the pressure to snap back into shape, both physically and emotionally. But here's the truth: healing takes time, and for many women, feeling comfortable and confident in their own skin again doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, not a race. And this is where partners, husbands, significant others, listen up. Alright fam, let's talk about this whole perfect parent pressure cooker. We live in a world of curated Instagram feeds where everyone's kids are sleeping through the night at 3 weeks old, potty trained by their first birthday, and speaking Mandarin by age 2. It's enough to make any normal parent feel like they're failing miserably. And here's the kicker: while you're busy agonizing over which organic, gluten-free, sugar-free snack to pack in your kid's lunchbox, your relationship is slowly withering away on the vine. You're so busy trying to be the perfect parent that you forget to be a good partner. You're reading every parenting blog under the sun but haven't cracked open a relationship book since your pre-baby days. Listen, I get it. We all want what's best for our kids. But here's a dose of reality for you. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. What your kids really need are parents who love and support each other. When you're constantly stressed and fighting, your kids feel that. They feed off that negative energy. So ditch the guilt, ditch the pressure, and ditch the unrealistic expectations. Focus on building a strong, loving relationship with your partner. That's the greatest gift you can give your children. Trust me, a happy and stable home is worth more than all the organic kale chips in the world. Next up, we gotta address the social earthquake that hits when you have kids, the great friend Exodus. Remember all those carefree nights out with your friends, the ones where you could stay out past 9 p.m. without worrying about a babysitter? Yeah, those days are gone. And it's not just about the logistics of finding a sitter and scraping together the energy to actually leave the house. It's also about the fact that, let's be real, your pre-kid life and your post-kid life are like two different planets. Your friends without kids, they're still living on planet fun, while you're stuck on planet diaper blowout. The problem is when you lose that social connection, that outlet to vent and connect with other adults, it puts a lot of strain on your relationship. Suddenly, your partner is the only person you have to talk to, and let's be honest, they're probably just as sleep deprived and touched out as you are. So what's the solution? Well, you gotta be proactive. Make time for adult interaction, even if it's just a quick coffee date with a friend or a virtual happy hour. And don't be afraid to reach out to other parents. You're all in this crazy journey together, and sometimes just knowing you're not alone is enough to keep you sane. Okay, fellas, this next one's for you. I've heard it from so many guys, after they become dads. They feel like they've gone from being the husband to being, well, basically a houseplant. They're there to provide and maybe water the lawn occasionally, but the emotional connection, the intimacy, it's MIA. And listen, I get it. It's natural for a mother to be completely absorbed in those early months, especially if she's breastfeeding. But guys, you gotta remember, your wives still need you. They need to feel seen, desired, loved, not just as mothers, but as women. Too often, the only compliments a new mom hears are about her parenting skills. You're such a good mom. While that's great and all, it doesn't exactly scream, I still find you attractive and want to rip your clothes off. So, husbands, here's your homework. Step up your game. Make an effort to connect with your wife on an emotional and physical level. Compliment her, touch her, flirt with her. Remind her that she's still the woman you fell in love with, not just a milk machine with a diaper bag. Alright fellas, listen up because this one's important. You know how much we appreciate a hot mama, right? But here's the thing, your wife, your partner, she wants to feel like more than just mom. It's great to compliment her on being a fantastic mother, but don't forget to appreciate her as a woman, as your partner, as the amazing person she is, beyond the diaper changes and bedtime stories. I get it, life gets crazy, especially with a little one running around. But trust me, a little effort goes a long way. Tell her she looks beautiful, even if she's rocking sweatpants and a messy bun. Remind her why you fell in love with her in the first place. A little romance, a little attention, it can make all the difference in the world. And ladies, I hear you too. It's easy to get lost in the whirlwind of motherhood, but don't be afraid to speak up. Let your partner know how you're feeling. Sometimes, a simple conversation is all it takes to get back on track. Remember, communication is key in any relationship, especially when you're navigating the choppy waters of parenthood. Because here's the truth, a happy wife, a happy partner, that's the foundation of a happy home. When she feels seen, appreciated, and desired, the whole family benefits. So guys, step up your game. And ladies, don't be afraid to speak your minds. Let's keep those flames burning, even after the kids are asleep. Remember those late night talks you used to have? Pillow talk, sharing dreams, fears, just connecting on a deeper level? Well, buckle up, buttercup, because after kids, that can turn into straight up diaper talk. And I'm not talking about the cute, giggly kind. I'm talking about the endless loop of, did you feed the baby? What's the baby's temperature? I think the baby needs a change. Look, I get it. Kids become a major part of your life, and rightfully so. But here's the danger. When all you talk about is the kids, you forget to talk to each other. You stop seeing each other as individuals, as partners, and you become just mom and dad. And that, my friends, is a slippery slope. So how do you avoid this communication black hole? Schedule it in. I know it sounds super unromantic, but trust me on this one. Set aside even just 15 minutes a day, phone-free, kid-free, to just talk to each other about your day, your hopes, your dreams, anything but the tiny human you created. Because here's the thing, that connection you built before kids, that's the foundation of your relationship. Don't let it crumble under the weight of dirty diapers and sleepless nights. Keep talking, keep connecting, keep that spark alive. We all love a good compliment. A little appreciation goes a long way, right? But after kids enter the picture, sometimes those thank yous and you're amazing, they kind of dry up like a desert wasteland of gratitude. And that, my friends, can breed resentment faster than you can say sleep regression. Think about it. One partner's busting their hump, working, cleaning, taking care of the kids, while the other one's just existing. Maybe they're working too, maybe they're helping out, but without that vocal appreciation, it's easy to feel like you're doing it all while your partner's chilling on easy street. And that's a recipe for disaster. So what's the solution? Simple, say thank you, like a lot. Thank your partner for making dinner, even if it's burnt. Thank them for changing a diaper, even if it's the smelliest one yet. Thank them for just being there, even if they're snoring on the couch. Because here's the deal. Gratitude is the antidote to resentment. When you feel appreciated, when you feel seen and valued, it changes everything. It strengthens your bond. It reignites the flame. It reminds you why you fell in love in the first place. So go on, spread the love, and watch your relationship flourish. Alright, fam, buckle up, because this next truth bomb is a little spicy. We're talking about spiritual manipulation. And no, I don't mean your weird aunt trying to sell you essential oils. This is about using faith as a shield to avoid responsibility in a relationship, and it's way more common than you might think. We've all heard it, right? It's a generational curse, or God will provide, when what they really mean is, I'd rather blame mystical forces than actually work on our communication issues. Look, I'm not here to judge anyone's beliefs, but when faith becomes an excuse for bad behavior or a way to guilt trip your partner into picking up your slack, that's a problem. And let's be real, using religion as a weapon is nothing new. People have been twisting faith for their own benefit for centuries. But in the context of a relationship, especially after having kids, it can be incredibly damaging. It creates this imbalance of power where one person is always the righteous one and the other is left feeling constantly guilty and inadequate. The truth is, strong relationships require effort, communication, and yes, even a little bit of compromise. You can't just pray away your problems or blame them on some cosmic curse. So by all means, pray, go to church, meditate, whatever gets you right with your higher power. But also do the work, have those tough conversations, and be accountable for your actions. Don't hide behind faith when your relationship needs you to show up. Alright fam, let's talk about romance. Remember those early days? The little things? Yeah, those were nice, weren't they? Surprise texts, little gifts, maybe sneaking in a quick kiss when no one was looking. It's crazy how kids can turn a passionate love story into a business transaction. But here's the thing, those small gestures, they matter, big time. They're like fuel for the love engine. And if you're not putting any fuel in, guess what? You're gonna be stuck on the side of the road, relationship sputtering and about to die. Don't let that happen to you. It doesn't have to be anything crazy either. A little note tucked into a lunchbox, a 20-minute walk after dinner just to hold hands and talk. These are the things that keep the spark alive. Remember, you're not just roommates managing tiny humans. You're lovers partners, and you need to treat each other that way. So next time you see your partner, give them a real kiss, not just a peck on the cheek as you pass by. Trust me, it makes a difference. This next one is a tough one, but we gotta keep it real. Sometimes the biggest thing holding couples back from fixing their marriage is themselves. Straight up, they let their pride get in the way. They think, oh, we can handle this on our own, or they're too afraid of what other people might think. Therapy? Nah, that's for weak people. Let me tell you something. There's no shame in asking for help. It's actually the opposite. It takes courage to admit you need support and to actually do something about it. Think of it like this. If your car breaks down, you wouldn't just keep driving it, hoping it magically fixes itself, right? You'd take it to a mechanic. Marriage counseling, that's like a mechanic for your relationship. A good therapist can help you identify the issues, work through those deep-rooted problems, and give you the tools to build a stronger, healthier relationship. Don't let the stigma keep you from saving your marriage. Look, guys, having kids is a beautiful thing. They bring so much joy, so much laughter, so much love into your life. But let's be real, they also bring a whole lot of chaos, a whole lot of stress, and a whole lot of change. And sometimes that change can put a strain on your relationship. The truth is, children are a blessing, but they shouldn't be a curse to your love story. You have to actively choose each other every single day. Don't let your marriage become another statistic, another victim of silence, of routine, of pride. Talk to each other, really listen, make time for each other, even if it's just 10 minutes before bed. Rekindle that spark, rebuild that foundation, and remember why you fell in love in the first place. You deserve joy, even after the baby arrives. Like, share, subscribe, and let's heal our homes together. Peace out.